If you want a pro vocal sound, you cannot skip this tool. Welcome back to the Band Guide, where we use GarageBand to create professional sounding music. I'm your band guy, Colin, and today I want to talk to you about a tool that has kind of become synonymous with the pro vocal sound. A lot of people refer to this tool as the sound of pro sounding vocals. Let's jump straight into it. All right, I have a song here. This is a song that isn't actually mixed at all. This is one I recorded a long time ago that I'm going to remix in GarageBand live on this channel next month. So keep an eye out for that. You're going to have to sign up to attend, but it's going to be completely free. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to go through the entire mixing process live where you can ask me questions along the way, ask me questions at the end. It's going to be really, really helpful. So keep an eye out for that. I'm really excited to do that with you. But what I want to talk to you about today actually came about while I was getting this session prepped. I was kind of going through things and I wanted the vocal to cut through a little bit more so I could hear it better in the context of everything else as I was setting up a static mix. And I put on this one plugin and I was really just reminded by how much this one plugin is really such a huge part of a pro vocal sound. It's really insane. This one tool can add so much to a lead vocal and over the years has really become synonymous with what a pro vocal sound is. So what I'm going to do, I have this plugin off screen on a second screen and I'm just going to bypass it and re-engage it as I'm letting the song play a little bit so that you can hear the effect that it's having on the vocal. Let's check it out.
Instead of crying at the table, that you're stable, instead of pushing it away. You say it's just to get out, yeah, it's just to get out of the figure. And now you say you're proud, yeah, you say you're proud. All getting sicker, yeah.
Were you able to pick up on that? Okay, I'm going to do it one more time with this plugin on screen. This is the Analog Obsession Fetish. This is their 1176 style compressor. It is completely free. And what I want you to do is watch as I bypass and engage this with this N button right here. And notice how the vocal, when this is off, just sounds thin. It doesn't sound as present. It doesn't sound as consistent. It's pretty wild. Check it out.
Instead of crying at the table, that you're stable, instead of pushing it away. You say it's just to get out, yeah, it's just to get out of the figure. And now you say you're proud, yeah, you say you're proud. All getting sicker, yeah.
Pretty crazy, right? So obviously, there's going to be a little bit of volume that's coming with this compressor. The way a compressor works is it inherently is turning the signal down when it gets to a certain point, and then you use makeup gain to make up any volume lost from that. So what ends up happening with that is that you get a more consistent vocal sound, kind of similar to if you were just ride the vocal the whole time, turning up the volume here and there, turning it down here and there, making sure that's always a really consistent volume. But there's also a tone that comes with these compressors, especially when we're using one of these analog style compressors. These have a tone built into them. This 1176 style compressor is a little bit aggressive sounding. It allows it to cut through well in the context of a big mix, a kind of cluttered mix, if you will. There's a lot going on in this song. And by making our vocal a little bit thicker and a little bit more aggressive, we can really help it come through in the context of this song. Again, this is not mixed at all yet. There's no effects anywhere on this mix. Some of the volumes are definitely a little bit off. So keep that in mind. This is really just this one plugin on this vocal to help fill it out. Now, I really want to highlight what this does beyond just the volume balancing component, because there's a tone that comes with these. So in solo, check out this first line with this off and then when it's back on. So it's off right now.
Instead of crying at the table,
and back on.
Instead of crying at the table.
Now there's a little more volume that comes with that, but really there's kind of this warmth that comes with it too. And the way we've set this is a very common approach to setting a compressor on a vocal. We have a pretty slow attack. Now in this case, slow on an 1176 style compressor is still under a millisecond. So this is still a pretty fast compressor. And then we've set the release as fast as it will go. 50 milliseconds is a really fast release. So it's basically going to let off the word as soon as it's done compressing it. As soon as it is no longer past the threshold, it will release it, meaning that anything else gets benefited by the output gain being increased. This is huge for really bringing out kind of the subtleties in the vocals, but it also brings out kind of the body in the vocal in a really interesting way. Check it out again one more time here.
Instead of crying at the table. Instead of crying at the table.
Let's jump forward to this pre-chorus line.
And you say it's just to get out. Yeah, it's just to get out. Get out of the thick of it. And now you're saying you're proud. Yeah, you're saying you're proud.
It adds an energy, right? It's more than just that it makes it consistent and it adds a little bit of volume to certain words and phrases, but it adds an energy. When this is off, especially in this pre-chorus here,
say it's just to get out. Yeah,
it's just a little flat.
Get out. Get out of the thick of it. And now you're saying you're proud. Yeah, you're saying you're proud. We're all getting sick of it, yeah.
So the compressor has kind of become synonymous with a pro vocal sound. In this case, we're using the Analog Obsession Fetish, which is their 1176 style compressor. This style of compression is really a very common approach to a vocal compressor. Again, a slowish attack, but again, slow on an 1176 is still pretty fast, but it's slow enough that it's going to let that initial punch of the words come through, and then a super fast release so that it's going to let off extremely quickly so that it will bring out the subtleties at the end of words and between words and allow the compressor to let the punch come through every time the singer starts singing. Now, people like Chris Lord-Alge, who mix rock a lot of the time, they'll go even more aggressive with this. They will literally what's called pin the needle so that it's hitting as far down here as possible. It'll be hitting 20 decibels every word. It's kind of hilarious. A lot of people think it's kind of funny, but it helps bring out the tone of these compressors. And we can't really argue with the results. Chris Lord-Alge has, I guarantee, mixed one of your favorite records. He's just an incredible mixer. So keep that in mind that you can be a little more aggressive with this depending on your track. You want to be careful because it can start to be over the top. You can definitely start to bring out too many S's because S's are quieter in volume but louder in how we hear them. And so sometimes a compressor, if you're compressing a lot, it might not actually pick up the S's with the compressor, so it's going to let that through and then clamp down after, making the S sound louder in the context of the word. You might need to use a de-esser to correct that. I've done a video on fixing harsh vocals. Check that out. And I've gone way in depth on compressors on this channel as well. So if you haven't seen one of my other videos where I explain compression a little bit better, definitely check that out. I don't have time to fully explain compression right now. It's a whole topic in and of itself. But I want to give you something that's going to help with compression even more than just watching another video. I've put together a completely free compression cheat sheet. There's a link in the description below. We can grab that, pick it up. It's really going to help you out. It walks through exactly what all the parameters of a compressor are and explains how you can use them to create a more professional sound. Compression is all over pro mixes. It is a huge part of a professional sound. So if you want your music to sound professional, it completely can inside GarageBand, but compression is a tool that you definitely need to be using. So be sure to pick that up. Before we go, I want to hear from you. Do you use compression in your mixes? Do you have any favorite compressors or techniques? Let me know in the comments below. If this video was helpful, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week with another video.